Fin Du Monde is a French name for a Belgian-style beer brewed in Canada and owned by a Japanese company. Still following? Translated to the end of the world, the Triple Golden Ale has been around since 1994 and has won more international beer awards than any other Canadian beer. Is it worthy of all these medals? Find out now on Two Dudes Reviews. What up, guys? Yeah, today we have Fin Du Monde out of Unibroue in Canada. Unibroue is one of my favorite breweries. I haven't reviewed any of these beers yet. I haven't had one in a very long time, and so I figured today is the perfect time to break one of these open. So let's crack it. And now Fin Du Monde is a bottle re-fermented beer. It's also a twist off, so you don't get the bottle opener. But since it's bottle re-fermented, don't pour the last bit in unless you enjoy drinking all of that delicious, just floaties in the bottle. But you can get a nice pint glass poured and just be able to leave the bottom in there. So, perfect. But anyways, the second guy in Two Dudes in a Six Pack, who you can hear on the podcast, when I found out he was proposing to his missus, we went out and got a Fin Du Monde, and that was years ago. 8 years ago, I don't know, a long time ago. But that might be the last time I've had. I don't know. It's been a while since I've had this, so I don't really remember what it tastes like. We will dive back into it right now. So let's check out the smell. One of the things I like about the Unibroue brewery is it's very Belgian based. A lot of the beers, if no one told you, you'd think that they were out of Belgium, and they also have that kind of old world taste to it. They taste like there's much more history behind it, and that's one thing I like about Belgian beers is that you can usually taste that this beer has been perfected over 200 years, 300 years. These beers tend to have that as well, but they're definitely much newer, and that's kind of what this has. It has a nice, when you smell it, it has that nice kind of citrus bouquet going on. Very light and bright. It has some lemon zest going on. There is definitely maybe some oranges. What is the... There's like a tartness in there as well. Kind of like, maybe like a green apple. I think that's the tartness I'm going after. Like a not quite ripe green apple. Unibroue has another beer, I can't remember what the name of it is, but it's a green apple based beer. It's actually really refreshing, but it has some of that kind of green appleness going on. But yeah, citrus based, a lot of citrus notes, the green apple. You have some slight nuttiness underneath it, but really the citrus aroma, and then just the floral citrus thing going on. There's a lot of different elements kind of coming together, and so you're always kind of trying to smell something different, which is, I like the complexity of it. It's interesting, so I'm gonna recommend it on that. But now let's get into the taste. This is where it doesn't taste as like citrusy and just fruity basically as it smells. You do get some of that. I think the green apple is most apparent. There might be a little bit of orange peel, orange zest thing going on. Maybe something a little citrus based, but maybe a little heavier, not as tart. or sour. I mean, so not lemony, but more along the orange and kind of grapefruit thing going on. Definitely like a nutty wood kind of thing. Really like you took I don't know, I don't know if almond's the right, but you just kind of shaved down you like an almond kind of thing, and you mixed it in there. You got that. Maybe just a subtle hint of molasses. So you do is maybe a ever so hint of sweetness in there, but also just kind of just like, yeah, a lower, deeper tone to it. You get some of the barley as well towards the end of it. Of course, this beer is what, 9% by volume when they bottle it, and since it's re-fermented in the glass, it's gonna pick up. So this is probably more like 10%, maybe a little more. And you can usually with those where they keep on building, you're gonna get more of that kind of barley-ish flavor to it. But that's kind of on the back end. You get more of the a little bit of the like green apple-ish thing going on, along with the nut woodsy taste, and then you get a little bit of that like barley thing going on. But it's really good, really complex. You're gonna get a whole bunch of different flavors going on. So if you like almost experiencing a different flavor with every single sip, check this beer out. It's really pretty good with that. There's not a whole lot of beers you can get out there where every sip is like a new experience, and that's what this beer is. So I recommend it on the taste. Next is value for price, and off the top of my head, I can't remember exactly the price for the Fin Du Monde, but it is, I believe, a little bit cheaper than what you're going to pay for a Belgian beer. Now, of course, you know, you're only importing it from Canada into the United States instead of Europe, bringing it over, and so naturally the price is going to be a little bit different, but it tastes a lot like Belgian beers. So if you're a Belgian fan but you don't want to pay the higher Belgian price for like a Trappist, it does have some similarities to like an Orville. If you had an Orville before, it has some similarities to that. But if you want something similar, but yeah, just don't want the higher price tag, check pretty much the whole, you could probably check out most of the whole company, but the Fin Du Monde is a nice price for that. So I'm going to recommend it for price. It is going to be more expensive than a lot of other Canadian beers, but when you compare it to kind of what the other styles of beers that taste like from other countries, the price is good. So recommend it on the price. Next is distinction. How distinct is it? And you kind of have to compare this to, I don't know if you compare it to Canadian beers or if you compare it to, you know, like a Belgian beer. I mean, most of the Canadian beers I've had are just kind of straight lager based, and I think it's more apt to compare it to a Belgian beer just because that's kind of, you know, that's the style it's done in. I mean, everything is just screams Belgium about it, except for, you know, the country of origin. But it is, even if you compare it to other Belgian beers, and I know I did say it does have some similarities to like an Orville, there are some differences. It has the subtle tartness of that green apple, which just kind of, you know, laced in there. It's really nice. It doesn't go over the top. It's just a kind of a little sprinkling in there. And it's like, if you've ever had regular apple cider that just has a little bit of that tartness in it, it tastes so much better. There's just a little bit extra, like, you know, excitement kind of going on that kicks it up a notch. And that's kind of what this little subtle green apple thing going on does. And so I'm going to recommend it because of that. It is distinct. It is a little different, but it's in a good way. Next category is drinkability. Let's get another sip of this real quick. This is a beer You can get them in this size, and you can also get it in the larger one. I don't remember how big that is, but I could probably drink the large. Just drink one of the large bottles, and that's it. I'm done with it. If I was to go just with the smaller 12-ounce glass bottles, 2, maybe 3 tops. It is, again, it's a higher alcohol, but by the time you crack it open, depending on how long it's aged, it's probably going to be well over 10%. And so once you start having 3 beers, that's 10%. That's basically the equivalent of 8 Budweisers. So that's a lot to drink in a short period of time. But with that said, 2 or 3. I think for something like that, having 2 or 3 of these, being able to do that is pretty good. It's not super heavy to the point where it's just like it's ugh. And some of the beers that get higher up there have that super heavy barley flavored, like the barley wines, where it's a little too much for being able to drink more than one. And so I'm gonna recommend that. I'm gonna recommend this for drinkability. You'll be able to get. I think it comes in a 4-pack. You'll be able to drink. Well, I could drink 3 if I really forced myself. I could do the 4th one, but this isn't a beer that I have to force myself with. But so I'm gonna recommend it on drinkability. Last category is would I buy it again? And absolutely yes, I would. I think it's just a fantastic beer. It's really well done. It's like a Belgian beer, but it's cheaper, but it's still a very high quality. There's really nothing about it that just is not to like. It just has a nice mixture of all sorts of things coming together. It's got that nice kind of Trappist triple style beer, if you're into that. And so if you like that kind of a beer and you haven't had this before, check it out. If you haven't experienced any Unibroes before, please check that out as well. They are a fantastic brewery. They're not paying me to say that. I wish they were. But totally check them out. But so yeah, it got a review, the thumbs up on every single category, which means it gets the Two Dudes official stamp of approval. So alright, that is my review of Fin Du Monde. If you've had it before, let me know in the comments. Maybe you love it, maybe you hate it, maybe you think I'm nuts, I don't know. Let me know in the comments. Don't tell me I'm crazy, I already know. But yeah, and like and subscribe, that'd be great. You can follow me on Twitter, Two Dudes Podcast, or the podcast Two Dudes in the 6-pack. And so yeah, that is the review. So for myself and Fin Du Monde, take it easy.